4 things he said there. He uses the word passion, tactical knowledge, exploiting our strength, and simple, right? So I'd like to think at this stage that we are come to the end of this idea of Ireland as a team.
I'd like to keep tactical knowledge, please.
Obviously, tactical knowledge.
That's an important
tactical knowledge
thing.
is fine, but it's kind of like saying one of our strengths is tactical knowledge, which is like, well, that's
that's a good tactical.
It's grand.
No,
okay.
Sorry, tactical knowledge is Spain. The great Spain teams have good tactical knowledge.
Let me just finish my point.
Why are you taking that as a thing? Tactical knowledge is a good thing, John.
Simple, right? So basically, this is a simple Irish team. If you go back to the days of Jack Charlton when we played awful football, and I know Stephen Kenny, who's going to be the manager next year, has spoken about how he hated watching Ireland in those days, and he didn't go along with the crest of a wave that was in this country. I think with the way football is being played at underage level in Ireland now, the way our underage teams are playing at a national level, right up to the under-21s who are playing in Toulon at the moment, I would like to think that 5-10 years from now, this notion of Ireland being unable to play anything but agricultural football, simple, passionate, aggressive, physical football will be gone, and we'll be able to play just as well as somebody from Croatia or somebody from Uruguay or somebody from some of the great football nations of the world, because just because we're Irish does not mean we're not technically good, and it doesn't inhibit us because we're Irish. And I would like to think that interviews like that will soon become a thing of the past.
We're always going to be aggressive, though. You talk about the underage teams playing up to 21s. I don't know how many games you've seen of our teams at like 17s, 19s, 20. Like the 21s now under Kenny is it's slightly different. But I mean, like Tom Mohan's teams, Colin O'Brien's teams, like they're not playing total football. There's a mix and a match. There's an ability to have. I know I'm just spoofing a bit about the tactical knowledge, like joking, but there is an element of that. There is an element of like the 17s team that was hailed last year when they were robbed by the penalty shootout scenario against Holland, who won the tournament. Like in that game, they played some good football at times. At times they were under a bit of pressure. They were a bit more direct or whatever. Like as much as like I think there's a balance to be found here. Of course, we want our teams to play more football and to be more attractive to watch. And we don't like to be called, like spoken about as like sort of a caveman team, but I think to expect some kind of transformation to be compared to a Croatia or something like that, it's not realistic.
It's absolutely realistic.
No, it's not. But
it's absolutely realistic.
I actually don't think
players are coached properly from a young age. It's absolutely realistic.
I don't think you want to lose all of the attributes. Like I know that you want to be loved as an attractive football nation and a good team to watch, but actually there are aspects of like Irish aggression and physicality that other teams want, that other teams crave, and there would be an argument that and I remember Graham Barrett wrote a great piece about this maybe 2 years ago as well, that speaking about like the changes at underage level, that you need to be very careful that you still maintain an Irish identity within whatever changes that you make. Like people talk about, well, why don't we should still have people like Brian Kerr involved in Irish football. I mean, Brian Kerr wasn't someone who was didn't have teams that had those attributes, to have those skills. So I think you would just like. You're obviously repeatedly making this point, but I'm not sure what end game you're expecting and whether that end game is realistic, and actually whether that end game would necessarily suit Ireland to a degree as well.
Why would it not suit us to be able to be coaching players from 3-4 years of age to just play one-touch football and to play football the proper way that will make people want to watch this Ireland team? There's nothing to inhibit us at all if we're coached properly. I believe, like I was speaking to Dundalk's Stephen O'Donnell recently, and he was on about Pat's Shell's under 15 game, couldn't get over the standard. And if you talk to like Belvedere went over to Liverpool under 14s there recently, Paul Corrie is involved with them, beat Liverpool, probably played some lovely football as well. Every time I watch underage games now, I'm really taken by the players wanting to keep the ball on the ground, and that's all coming from coaching. It's all about coaching. There's nothing that inhibits us. Why can't we play like Croatia? There's nothing to stop us if we have the ability. And I do believe, even watching the under-21s, granted it's at a level that's it's not top class. The under-21 scored against China the other day after 33 seconds. China hadn't touched the ball at that stage.
No, it was great. There was actually a long diagonal ball.
Yeah, from Masterson.
Led to the goal. Like I'm just saying that like there's a mix and match, and Irish teams were always going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I'm not criticising Mick McCarthy or this team because I'm not sure they're capable of playing much better than they did last night anyway. But I think in the future, and in fairness to Stephen Kenny, he will make this point as well. Just because we're Irish, there's no way we have to just accept that we'll always be a long ball team or we'll always be physical physical, and our best attributes will be stuff like passion and never giving up and stuff like that, because what Denmark have seen from Ireland would put anyone off football over the last few years. Nobody wants to see the performances that Martin O'Neill's teams were producing, and that performance in Wales that got us over the line in Cardiff was an absolute cancer on the game, the way we played that night. It was horrible, horrible football to watch, and there was nothing to be celebrated.